play video games, and some of those video games I play, I like. Man, I have gotta work on these openings. So, I have been a gamer for most of my life. I've played a fair amount of games over the span of my life, and some of those games really click with me. Some, personally, I am a big fan of. So today, I'm gonna count down my personal top 10 favorite games of all time. These will be the best of the best. So, the rules for this video, they have to be games that I've played. I don't know, I can't really think of any rules for this video. And well, I'm out of stuff to say here, so without further ado, here's my top 10 favorite games of all time. Oh yeah, and every top 10 list has to say this, but of course this is my personal opinion and it's okay if you disagree. That'll probably happen a lot, by the way, because keep in mind, I'm the guy that doesn't like Mario 64 and thinks that Mario Land 2 is the best 2D Mario. So, yeah. Anyways, let's begin now. Super Mario Land 2 was a game that, for a while, I hadn't played. And now, look at me putting it in my top 10 favorite games list. So Super Mario Land 2, The 6 Golden Coins, is a highly underrated gem of a Mario game. The game is bursting with cheesy personality and charm. It plays like Super Mario World, but on a handheld, which is how it should. You can play the 8 worlds in any order you want. That actually kinda makes it feel like an open world game in this way. But yeah, somehow this dumb little handheld game is my 10th favorite game of all time. I don't know what's wrong with me, honestly, but if you want more of my feelings on this game, I literally just made a video about it, so just watch that. Anyway, moving on to number 9 now. Splatoon is one of Nintendo's newest franchises. There are only 2 games in the series so far, but there will definitely be more games to come in the future. But for now, Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 are super addicting games. I get that no one has a Wii U, so yeah, you probably can't play the first one, blah blah blah, but guess what? The Switch one actually sold well. So for this list, I'm gonna go with Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 is very similar to the first one, sure. All it added was new weapons, modes, and stages, but it's still a super good game. The concept of Splatoon is so genius in my opinion. It's super satisfying to cover ground, and then to win, and then all the time your level goes up so you can constantly be getting new weapons and bragging rights. In Splatoon 2, they got rid of the hosts of the first one, who were Callie and Marie, and instead replaced them with Marina and Pearl. I personally think that Marina and Pearl are a lot better and have more personality than Callie and Marie, so I like them more. And, well, I just love wandering around Inkopolis Plaza. Nintendo really did a good job of making this feel like a real place, and it's super charming. If they added more Nintendo franchises to Super Nintendo World besides Mario in the future, I'd personally be super hyped to see a Splatoon-themed section. It would be so cool and immersive to wander around Inkopolis Plaza in real life. And yeah, Splatoon 2 is a super addicting game that I recommend to anyone. In the year of 2013, when Nintendo was stuck on the struggling Wii U, Nintendo released a brand new 3D Mario game, and this game became wildly successful. It caused tons of people around the world to buy a Wii U and it became the most popular gaming console ever. No, that didn't happen, but we all wish it did. Now, Super Mario 3D World is an amazing game. CrazyNate Gaming made a good point in his video talking about the 3DS, how everyone calls 3D World underrated. But if everyone is calling it underrated, is it really underrated? No, I don't think it is. But that aside, Mario 3D World is still a super fun game. It has tons of variety, much more than 3D Land does. Anyways, I love the variety in this. It makes it super enjoyable for the player. You can play as 4 different characters in 3D World: Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach, and they all have different strengths and weaknesses. They're all balanced pretty well. Except Peach and Rosalina. They have the best powers and nothing can change my mind. Anyways, the level design is really good and the difficulty progression is just right. The game usually looks really good. I'm glad they took advantage of the Wii U's capabilities in this one, unlike in New Super Mario Bros. U, which looks way too similar to Mario Bros. Wii. This game has loads and loads of replay value. Not only do you have tons of green stars to collect, but you also have to get all of the stamps, get the top of the flagpole, and play all the extra worlds. So there's tons of meat in this game. Anyways, that's Mario 3D World. Let's move on to the next game now. Okay, I'm gonna say it now. Donkey Kong Country is better than 2D Mario! Yeah, 2D Mario has a lot of high quality games, but honestly, I would take a Donkey Kong Country game over any 2D Mario, and honestly, I'd take it over almost any Mario game. Now that is high praise right there. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a masterpiece of a 2D platformer, but you're probably wondering, but Eli, how do you make a good game out of Monkey Boy and Curious George over here? But it's super simple. Give the game tight controls, amazing level design, and beautiful music. The controls in the game are super tight, but they're just right. The platforming is super fun and satisfying. Tropical Freeze is super hard as well. For some reason, the newer DK games have a thing for being super hard. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. The level design is beautiful. Let me explain why. In Mario games, you're like, oh look, there's a block up there. How did it get there? I don't know, it's just kind of there. And there are a lot of instances of things being less grounded in Mario games too. But in Tropical Freeze, everything has a reason. Every platform is held up by something else. Everything is just a bit more grounded. Not that a game about monkeys going on big adventures through the jungle and collecting floating bananas is that realistic, but you get what I mean. The characters have loads of personality. When you don't move for a while, the characters kind of do their own thing, and it's always hilarious. Another example of showing personality is with Funky Kong. I love with this first boss. The boss squishes a banana, and the four main characters' reactions is that they're horrified. But with Funky Kong, no, he's just kind of like... The soundtrack in this game is pure gold. This, no joke, has gotta be in my top 5, likely even top 3 game soundtracks of all time. David Wise, who made the music, makes beautiful music. I'm just not even gonna describe it to you. Here, just listen to it for yourself. See? Every song is a banger. Donkey Kong soundtracks really need more love. Anyways, let's move on to number 6 now. There are a lot of high quality RPGs out there. For example, there's the legendary Paper Mario games, Fire Emblem, and who could forget Final Fantasy? But for my personal list, I'm going to go with the Toby Fox game, specifically Deltarune. But Eli, you may say, why did you include Deltarune on this list but not Undertale? And to that I say, yes, I did include it, just be patient. Deltarune is a pixel art game which was Toby's response to the huge success that Undertale was. It has really funny characters, and the battle system, while too much less simplistic than Undertale honestly, is still fun to use when you get the hang of it. The writing is super funny as well. I laughed at a lot of the jokes. It's a funny game. It looks super colorful. It's so pleasing to the eyes to look at. I never get sick of it. And, as expected from Toby Fox games, the soundtrack doesn't fail to impress. Whether it's a relaxing song, or an intense song, or a beautiful one, Deltarune has everything. And remember, this whole thing is literally free, so you have no excuse not to try it. But anyways, moving on to number 5 now. I have never been the hugest Zelda fan. Don't get me wrong, I've played a good percentage of the games, and from what I've played, it's a pretty fantastic series. But honestly, I'm not as hardcore of a fan as some people. But then, I played Breath of the Wild, and everything changed. Breath of the Wild is a masterpiece of a game. There's no other game that can quite capture the magic that this one is. The world is ginormous, and it almost feels like it could really be an actual place in real life. It's a blast discovering all of the world that this game has to offer. And do you like long games? Because boy do I have a game for you. Every square inch of this game is filled to the top with stuff to do, places to explore, enemies to fight. Speaking of fighting, the combat in Breath of the Wild is just a bit different from other Zeldas, mainly because of the assortment of weapons you can gather throughout the world. And yeah, this game's biggest problem is definitely how the weapons break too fast. But honestly, as annoying as that can be sometimes, it does add a layer of thought and resource management to every battle. Tons of enemies in Breath of the Wild can kill you in one shot, and just in general, you're gonna die a lot. But thankfully, there's not a ton of penalty for dying in this one, because the game can get pretty hard at times. The most underrated aspect of Breath of the Wild has gotta be its visuals. It's not like people dislike how this game looks, but no one is really giving it the praise it deserves, in my opinion. I know that the cel-shaded style isn't anything new for the Zelda franchise, since they had it in Wind Waker and whatever those DS games were called, but I think if I had to pick one art style that every Zelda game used from now on, I'd pick the Breath of the Wild style. And yeah, that's why Breath of the Wild is my favorite Zelda game, and my 5th favorite game of all time. Okay, so looking back at my top 7 indie game videos, I realized that 25% of that whole video was me gushing about Celeste. I didn't realize that until the video was uploaded. I'm sorry. But anyways, that's number 4 on this list, Celeste. There are few games out there that can tell a deep story, but at the same time provide fun and challenging gameplay, but Celeste excels at doing that. Something about the way Madeline controls in this game feels just right. It's so satisfying to perfectly beat a level without any flaws, and there can't be any flaws because there's no room to mess up. But that makes beating each level all the more satisfying. The music has gotta be one of the greatest video game soundtracks I've ever heard. Every song is super atmospheric and fits super well with the level. It also makes playing the levels that much more engaging. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. If you want me to ramble about this game more, just watch my top 7 indie games video. I talked about it plenty there. Anyways, moving on. Fighting games are fun. It's satisfying to virtually fight against other people that are in the same room as you. But none can nail it just as well as this one singular game can. And that game, of course, is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Yeah, of course I'm joking. I'm talking about Smash Bros. Specifically, Smash Ultimate. Smash Bros. Has a certain type of magicalness to it. The hype around it when a new game is announced or when a new fighter is revealed, well, it can't really be replicated in any other game. So anyways, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the biggest Smash Bros. Game to date. This one has 74 characters. This game series started out with 14, and now, more or less 20 years later, we have over 70. That is mind-blowing. The game itself of Smash Bros. Is perfect. You can play the game however you want. Maybe you could play Fox only Final Destination, no items, or play with, ew, gross, items. Anyways, Smash Bros. Ultimate has a super meaty story mode. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it since it's just too overwhelming for me personally, but I can still respect the sheer amount of effort that went into it. It's insane how Sakurai can balance 74 different characters with none feeling any more overpowered than any other. In case you're curious, my current main is female Corrin. I like her a lot, but my other favorites have gotta be Bowser, Simon Richter, and Young Link. Also, this isn't really related to the game at all, but the box art is super good. No, it's honestly not as good as Brawl's box art, but it still looks super sick in my opinion. I am out of things to say about Undertale because, well, there's really nothing left to say about it. The game is a work of art. Yes, the battle system is unique with the ability to spare enemies. Yes, the soundtrack is absolutely amazing and one of the best, if not the best, of all time. And yeah, the characters have loads of personality and funny writing. The game isn't really about Frisk. The main character is you. You're supposed to insert yourself into Frisk's shoes, and that actually works quite well. In the game, you pick what happens. You can pick who stays, who dies, so really, the main character is you. This makes parts of the games when the characters are talking to Frisk feel like they're talking to you. This makes the part where they're happy that you spared everyone out of the kindness of your heart a lot more happy to you personally, but it also makes the parts where they're sad that you killed everyone a lot more heartbreaking. It's so powerful, man. And I think I've just about said everything that's worth being said. But now, let's move on to my number 1 favorite game of all time. Yeah, number 1 is Mario Galaxy. Look, I'm sorry for making this anticlimactic, but you all knew it was coming when you clicked on this video, and I also knew it when I started making this video. Super Mario Galaxy hasn't been my favorite game for my entire life, but it may as well have been. Mario Galaxy just feels like an epic sci-fi adventure, but at the same time it still feels like a family-friendly Mario game, and I mean that in the best way possible. The way Mario Galaxy constructs its levels is a lot different from other Mario games. In Mario Galaxy, Mario blasts from planet to planet, and each planet has a different theme. That makes it a lot more engaging for the player since there's something new thrown at you every corner. And on top of that, running around on planets is a lot more fun than it sounds. And the soundtrack, man, what is there even left to say about it? It's catchy, it's epic, it's atmospheric, it's just perfect. And that's what this game is. It's perfect. I mean, no, it does have a few issues, but the good far, far outweighs the bad. Play Mario Galaxy, you have no reason not to play it anymore. It's in Mario 3D All-Stars, it's a masterpiece, and I also have a video essay coming out about it eventually, so be an epic viewer and watch that when it comes out.